Alright, today's run, we just did speed drills today. Let's save. Okay, recovery time is only 16 hours. I guess not too bad. 3.02 miles total. Okay. And see, alright, VO2 is up to 53 now. I'm making a comeback. Nice. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and juice that wheatgrass, and then we're going to go ahead and show you what our numbers look like. After my shower, of course. Hey, good morning, welcome back. And this is now day 2 of week 2 of my marathon training program. As you saw yesterday, I always start out, well, after my run, I always do a shot of wheatgrass. I'm not going to sit there and show you the whole wheatgrass juicing thing since I showed you that yesterday. And with respect, I'm going to try to keep this down to 10 minutes or under 10 minutes and try to keep these short every day and add a little bit more as we go along. I went ahead and saved the wheatgrass to go ahead and do for you just to show you that I do this every day. It's in a bowl today because as you saw yesterday, I always plant 1 ounce of seed, or one of those little squares worth of seeds every day. And the grass I juiced this morning gave me clearly just more than a shot. So for those who question, yes, here we go. This is wheatgrass. No questions about it. Fine, fresh, sweet grass taste. Alright. As you can see, I've got no water. My tap. I've got no water, so that's going to sit in my mouth until we're done with this video. I went ahead and got started with, I got the website pulled up and everything. I will admit, I was feeling a little tired this morning. Yesterday being the holiday, I did some barbecuing, which is fine. But I didn't eat like I should have or would have. And so I do feel that I didn't have as much fuel on board as I should have. And as I shared with you yesterday, sleep, hydration, and your diet are going to really play into your training. Well, I clearly kind of suffered on the diet part. That's fine. I'll live and learn. We take a look at my numbers, and my numbers support this as well. So today we did intervals. I went ahead and did 4x400s, or as close to 400 meters as I can find with 2 fixed spots on the street. So my total distance was 3.02 miles. I don't care about average pace because that includes standing around resting in between. I burned 361 calories over the course of 36 minutes. This morning when I went out and did this at, you can see this 4:50 a.m., it was 75 degrees. Yes, it's getting warm here in Phoenix. As we come down here, you can kind of see. Now this is what intervals look like as far as your pace. You can see I kind of roll out just comfortably, got myself out to where I needed to be, cruising along here, about 8 minutes or so, no problem. And then I take a rest, and then ideally I want to rest about 3 minutes in between each interval. Sadly, because I took and downloaded a couple of new apps for my watch. My lap time screen is gone, so I have to use the clock. So my 3 minutes in between splits became a little more than 3 minutes. Anyhow, you can kind of see, me hitting it, me resting, me hitting it, me resting, and all that. Now we come down here. Same thing with the heart rate. Very interesting. As you look, you notice the heart rate always peaks right at about the end. Again, right at about the end. Your heart's finally figuring out what the hell you're doing to it. So yeah, it's catching up at the end, but it's just one of those things. And then of course on the way home, I did basically a marathon pace run, and you can see at the beginning my heart's like, not this again, and then it kind of chills out and gets comfortable with what's going on. So to give you an idea, now with Garmin, the cool thing is I could take a look at, okay, if this looks like, these look like squares, we could blow this up, and now it looks like this. You could take a look and you could see all these splits have a downward slope to them, which means I started out strong and I faded it at the end. This tells me a lot about where I was at as far as strength-wise. And so you can see I started out here at about the 5:30 pace and then comfortably cruised along at about 6. And same here, 5:41, cruised along, settled at about 6:05. And then here, 5:41, cruised along, chilled out again at about 6. And then this last one, I really kind of wanted to apply myself. I wanted to see what I had. These first 3, believe it or not, are just kind of warm up. I really wasn't giving it my all. I was just kind of going by comfortable feel. This last one started out about 5:20 and chilled out and ended up at 5:38. So that kind of gives me some idea there too. Now with Garmin, I could also do this, highlight and enlarge. Now what this tells me is, we look at the time down here, at 26 minutes and 15 seconds into my morning, and I could tell you 4 seconds later, I'm pretty much kind of at cruising speed, and then, so we go for 26:19, and then 5 seconds later, I cap out. So you can kind of see how I picked up my speed there. I got comfortable 4 seconds into it, and then I capped out 5 more seconds later, and I cruised along. I cruised along pretty nicely, and then again, towards the end, I started to fade a little bit before it was all over. So that kind of gives you an idea there. Again, we could do this with each one of these just to kind of let you know. And why is this important? Well, because as you know, as I shared earlier, yeah, I kind of came into this morning a little tired, a little not so much unrested but unfueled. But little data like this tells me, well, okay, how well was I ready for this? 6:17, I peak out 4 seconds later. So getting up and going is not the problem. Maintaining the going without fading is the problem. And so that tells me, okay, I definitely need to work on my fuel for this. And with the heart rate, not so much, I'm not too concerned with how that plays out. But you can see now, very interesting pattern with this. Here, the first one, my heart rate just kind of rolled into it. The second one, it kind of peaks, chills out, and then picks up again. Again, we see this same similar pattern in the heart rate. This tells me something about how much effort I was really giving to each of these splits, and then how much extra I applied myself a little towards the end. Especially with the last one. It kind of comes up quickly, then levels off, and then spikes one last time. So this helps me to see, okay, this is what my heart was doing, and it tells me that maybe my dedication to each one of those splits wasn't dead on from the very beginning. As you can see from the heart rate, I just kind of rolled into it to some degree. And data like that can tell you that, maybe you're just a little tired. You're that, or for some reason you're just not committed. Now, we're looking at the actual numbers. I went ahead and highlighted, hang on, let's get rid of this one for now. Okay, I highlighted the 4. As I shared earlier, this is about a quarter mile based on fixed points on the street, easy to find, like street signs, things like that. So the extra 300s, I'm not going to worry about it. You can see my average pace for each, starting out with 6:17, 6:14, 6:13, and then when I really decided to give that last one a good go, I ended up with 5:46. Now, to some, you might think, okay, that's pretty impressive. I mean, for me, based on last week, and I'll show you last week's in a second, this tells me again, I was tired. Something else that concerns me too is the gap between my average pace and my average moving pace. These 13 and 14 seconds, well, this here, wow, that's 30 seconds. This tells me that somewhere along the line I faded somewhere. And, this is just running data. This is just something we can learn from ourselves as far as how things go. Average heart rate, when you're doing speed drills, never care about this because you're going from resting to this. I look at what I ended up doing because pretty much your max heart rate is something you'll see at the end. And again, we can tell the first two, your heart was kind of warming up into it. Third one, maybe a little bit more. You could tell that supports that number. And then of course the last one, 178, definitely helps support that number. And as far as run cadence, why do I care about this? Well, this tells me, okay, I admit I was tired. I felt tired. I didn't feel like I had the energy. But my run cadence, something this tells me is, where were my legs at? Were my legs strong enough? Were my legs feeling weak? Were they feeling strong? And I look at these cadence numbers and say, okay, not so bad. Not so bad, and I'll show you last week's to compare. So this tells me that these results here, which aren't pleasing, these results here reflect simply just not being, not having enough energy on board. And remember yesterday, I talked about, when we were talking about average stride length, we were looking at about 1.08, 1.11 meters per stride, and that was at 8-minute pace. And then I told you that usually my speed drill is about 140. And here you go. Here, this shows you the first three. I kept it almost at 1.4 meters. My stride definitely got longer at the last one, which is kind of neat. Of course, for those of us who kick our own butt during doing drills, be it 400, 800, or whatever your drill happens to be, this is the discerning part. You look at this, 20 calories, 11 calories, 11 calories. Now that's impressive. I cut my energy expense in half. But for the duration of a minute and 45 seconds for the better part of things, for a minute and 45 seconds, I spent the caloric equivalent of about a teaspoon of sugar, a level like measuring cup teaspoon of sugar, and as we all know, that's like nothing. That's 15 calories. And so to kick your butt and only spend that few calories, that can be kind of discouraging, especially when you thought you really put more into it than you did. Now, to stay on track here, and then of course, real quick, we're going home. Going home, I always try to make interval day all about speed. And while last week I did 6x400s because I just had more in me, this week I did 4x400s or close to 400. Each week on my way home, which is almost 85 hundredths of a mile, I try to run those at marathon pace, or what I would like to be marathon pace. And this week I did a little better, obviously a little better than my needed marathon pace. So on the way home, for 5.5 minutes, I was averaging a 6:39 pace. Clearly, if I can learn to do this for another 25 miles, I'll definitely hit my sub 3. But again, it's one of those things I have to work into, because now here we talked about the 15 seconds or so. 15 seconds or so between my average pace and my average, moving pace, things like that, and all that. Here, there was only an 8-second difference. So clearly, the longer the distance, these numbers tend to get a little bit more even. So, in this matter of fact, or in this case, where'd my 8 seconds go? Did it take me 8 seconds to ramp up? No, I could tell you I lost 8 seconds in the end. So I actually slowed down, and I'll show you that in a second. But still, my average heart rate was 167. Again, this is going from rest to this. But at the end of the run, I was peaking out at that. This clearly I cannot hold, and I'll do this on another video. What was it? 4 years ago in August or September, I went down to Scottsdale Sports Medicine and had my VO2 max tested on a clinical machine. And I know from that, back then my VO2 max was 54, and my maximum heart rate before I would start hitting the wall would be 174 beats a minute. What does that mean? That means that ideally, as long as there's fuel on board, I can run at 174 beats a minute and never hit the wall. Anything above that, then the lactate threshold builds up and I'll end up balking or hitting the wall, and we don't want that. But this still, even though at 181 for the short distance, this is still good training. I mean, it definitely plays a part, helps to stretch the heart and lungs, it helps to build your circulatory system. And you can see my stride length slowed down or shortened a little bit, which is fine. You know, when compared, when compared to the speed, and but it was still comfortable. I'm not going to complain about that because my, again, at a 6.5 minute pace, 186 strides, not going to worry. Now, real quick, we talked about me slowing down here, and this is my way home. So there, 31:16, 31. Okay, so what? 6 seconds later, I'm cruising along. I start out 6:58. I bring it down. You can see I bring it down to about 6:20, high 6:20s, and as I'm getting closer to home, ideally I wanted to run this about 6:30, so I tried to slow down, but I kept slowing down. I kind of slowed down too much, because as you can see, by the time I got home, I was at 6:50. So that kind of explains that 8-second difference that I talked about earlier. Now, real quick, to kind of give us some comparison, let's get rid of that. Just we can see this were last week's. You can see I did 6 drills, 6 by 400, and you can see my average pace 6:07, 5:58, 6:05. These last two, I really decided to try because again, the first four are kind of comfort zone, as far as this kind of training goes. And I decided to go ahead and really give it my all. Here you can see 5:35. My average pace, my average moving pace was 5:06. My heart rate peaked out at 176. I tried that one last time, and I faded pretty quickly. I definitely spent whatever I had that day, and it paid off. You can see here, my average run cadence were in the 90s compared to upper 80s. And then again, we cruise all the way over here. My average stride length was definitely in the 140s. Actually all these were in the 140s. So we could see here, and again, last week I admit I felt stronger. I had more energy. I went 6 times, whereas this week I only went 4 times. And as you can see by my average moving pace, only the last one was really anything worth talking about because the first 3 were pretty consistent. And at least that says something. Consistency says something even though you're tired. So anyhow, that's what intervals look like for me this week. As you can see, there's a big difference between my interval speed and my cruising speed, and that's the idea, because it's all about a lot of the purpose behind speed work is all about perceived effort. And the more you apply yourself to the 400s, the easier the longer runs are going to feel because you'll be running slower. And so for me, the more often I'm running 5 and 6 minute 400s, a lot easier even an 8-minute long run pace will get. So that really helps out. And because 26 miles is a long time, and you can't really afford to burn out too soon with that, because if you burn out, as we saw with my drills, I quickly started adding a lot of time towards the end. And so you can spend first 20 miles doing some excellent numbers, and then the last 6 just kind of kill those first 20 as far as your average pace goes. But so anyhow, this is week 2. I've got a lot of work to do. Definitely focus on diet and eating more. And I'll let you guys go. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with this journey. Feel free to leave your questions and comments below. Thank you for the 2 that left comments already for yesterday's video, which I know YouTube didn't. I don't think YouTube actually listed till today. I don't know how that goes. Anyhow, if you have questions, feel free to leave them. I'll be certainly address them. I will post another video Thursday after my fartlek training, which will generally be a 7-mile run, and I'll do some speed work in the run itself, and I'll go into that on Thursday as well. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are gym workout days. Yesterday was no gym because the holiday. My gym didn't open till 8 o'clock, and by 8 o'clock my morning's already done. I'm not going to go to the gym at 8 o'clock when normally I'm there 4:30 in the morning. So that's why I did 5 miles instead of 4. So tomorrow will be gym run day. Again, tomorrow's just going to be an easy run, and I can go ahead and review that with you guys on Thursday. And then again, the gym and run on Friday. So I'll post a video Thursday, and I'll post a video again on Saturday on our running journey. And again, feel free to leave your questions, comments below. Subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.